What is nexLv all about? Well, let me ask you this. Would you drive on the road with a flat tire? Certainly not intentionally, right? And when fixing the flat, would you use tools to get that done? I would hope so. I've never seen it done by hand alone. A flat limits the speed you can drive and also gives you less control on the road. What happens when you experience a mental flat in your life? Similarly, you have difficulty keeping a steady course, and it affects how fast you can drive or move toward your goals. Like the tools you would use to change a flat tire, nexLv is a tool in your mental toolbox. With nexLv, there is no product to store or sell. The product is you. Using worksheets, guided meditations, audiobooks, and other content, you take the time to fix your mental flat and get back on your awesome journey towards success. Attend our weekly meetings so we can all grow as a community. We believe that we achieve more and at a higher rate of success together. Take your life to the next level today. Use this referral code during sign-up. nexLv is for you.
And good evening. Get rid of that. There we go. Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? See my brothers on. What's up? Devon, glad to have you on the call. Oh, cool. I see my good friend Ayane is also on. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me on Zoom. Every week I'm mastering this process a little better, a little more. I'm maximizing my potential, as we're talking about tonight. So first of all, great to be with you guys for another week to talk about improving ourselves, improving our minds, and whatever things that we have taken, or the active work we're doing in terms of just improving ourselves and our lives and kind of living at the next level, but really through our thinking. Oh, it sounds muffled. That might be my voice. I have a raspy voice. I got that raspy situation. But as long as you hear me, at least I know we're halfway there. All right. So last week we spoke about the power of potential, and it was an interesting conversation. Potential is innate, but it's latent. It's like it's these abilities, these qualities that we have that can. It's unimaginable what we can do with potential. The sky's the limit, really and truly. But we spoke about, well, how do we activate it, right? It's just there, it's latent. So it's existing, and it has the power to propel and to send forth and to grow in all these different amazing things. But at the same time, we're not maximizing it, right? So the question is, well, what do we have to do to allow this potential to give me 1 second, trying to fix this. And so that's what we are talking about and we're working on today. The power of our potential. Let me know if that's a little bit better, Devon. I just made a quick change. And so before we get started on today's topic, I want to show you a video, a whiteboard animation I did for last week's conversation. In case you missed last week's conversation, you weren't sure what we spoke about, you can certainly check this out right now.
Let's talk about the power of potential. What if I told you that you can do anything you put your mind to, or that you can acquire anything you desire? Do you believe that is true? It is absolutely true. I know this because everything you want, someone has already done it. Everything you desire, another has already acquired. If it is created by people and owned by people, then you too can acquire it as a person. I realize that some people appear to have a natural aptitude towards success, or seem to have superhuman abilities to succeed. But can it also be true that some people use and maximize their potential while others do not? That some people have mastered habits and trends that lead to their purpose? Here's a suggestion for some answers. Sign up at www.nexLv.com and listen to the audio series, Trend to Purpose. By listening to this audio series, you too can develop the habits that lead you to success. But let's get back to the concept of potential. Potential is defined as latent qualities or abilities that can be developed and lead to future success or usefulness. When you look at the word latent, it means lying dormant or hidden until circumstances are right for development or manifestation. If we combine those definitions, we can say that potential is hidden or dormant qualities and abilities, waiting for the right circumstances to manifest as success and usefulness. What you have to ask yourself is, how do you activate this latent ability or quality? Consider a bullet. Yes, I said that right. Do you know how a bullet is fired? The bullet consists of 4 main parts: the casing, which holds everything together, the primer, which is a chemical compound, gunpowder, and the actual bullet. What happens when the trigger is pulled? A firing pin hits the primer, which causes a reaction. This reaction ignites the gunpowder, which acts as a propellant, sending the bullet through the barrel and out the muzzle. Our potential is like that gunpowder. It's a propellant. The action of the gun is the mechanics that load and fire the projectile. So action is required to activate the gunpowder. Similarly, action is required to ignite our potential. So, what is your firing pin? What is your mechanism that you use consistently to activate your potential? Your firing pin is your belief system, your principles that form the basis of your moral code and behavior. What do you believe about yourself? How do you use those beliefs to propel the actions in your life? When you make a decision according to your belief system, it's like that firing pin hitting the primer and causing the chain reaction that sends the bullet on its way. The energy you need to move forward is the propellant force of your potential pushing you forward. The propellant getting you out of bed to go to the gym when you're tired. The force helping you to log into work or school on time when no one is looking. But like any mechanism, continued use normalizes the process, and the force becomes more reliable every time you use it. Using your firing pin, your belief system, to propel yourself to action becomes a trend that leads you to your purpose. If you'd like to review this audio about potential, it's always here for you. Thanks for watching. To watch our weekly live videos, follow us on facebook.com/official nexLv. We are also on Instagram and Twitter as official nexLv. To listen to the audio series Trend to Purpose or use our guided meditations and worksheets, sign up at www.nexLv.com. Use the referral code on screen. At nexLv, we believe that a healthy mind promotes a healthy body, and a healthy body promotes healthy actions that lead to success.
Awesome. So thanks for checking that out. And that was the guided meditation. Sorry, not the guided meditation. The whiteboard animation. There we go. Potential. Thanks, bro. And so we spoke last week about the firing pin, the fact that the bullet, or even a bomb, whatever it is, has this explosive powder in there that is very powerful, but really has no ability to do anything or cause any change until it's ignited or until something causes it to react in some way. And we spoke about our potential being that power, that kind of like, latent power that everyone has, that resides in all of us. And so the question was, okay, since we all have potential, how come we're not all using it or using it to its full potential? And so I asked the question last week, well, what's your firing pin, right? What's your mechanism that strikes the primer in the bullet that allows the gunpowder to ignite and sends the bullet forward with that propellant force, right? And if you don't believe those things, if you don't have a belief system that really ignites your potential, it just lays there and doesn't really do anything. And so we wanted this week to again speak about potential, and I just want to welcome you to nexLv and to our weekly meetings, where we're trying to build a community, where we're trying to be people that answer these tough questions and find some sense of direction in terms of how we should manage ourselves, but just from the mind first, right? The mind and everything else comes outward of it. So we believe really and truly that a healthy mind will promote a healthy body, and a healthy body with all its actions will lead to success in everything that it does. But it starts with the mind first, and that's that's what we're trying to tackle. And that's why we always have content every single week, because every single week our mind is a little off, right? Some days is good, maybe 2 or 3 days is good. I mean, people who have consistent days of really healthy and strong thinking are people that are have great lanes of success in whatever they put their mind towards. And so I'm trying to achieve that. Hopefully, that's something that you are trying to achieve as well. And so we always talk about this idea of driving with a flat. I know for those who tune in every week, it's like, well, here we go again with the flat tire. I mean, there's some things I have to just reiterate so it makes sense to everyone. But the point is, once you have the flat, your first instinct is to immediately fix it, right? You already have a solution mindset when it comes to that because you understand that the flat tire prevents you from driving at a certain speed, prevents you from maneuvering, and it's dangerous. Similarly, what happens when you have a mental flat? When you have something that happens in your thinking and in your mind that has the same effects in your life in terms of your mobility and ability to go fast or to move quickly. Do you have that same level of attention to detail to get it fixed right away, to check to see what tools you have to fix your flats? And so that's why nexLv is here. It's like it's a tool in your toolkit, something you can use to help you and give you guidance with whatever flats you may encounter. So last week we spoke about the power of potential, and it was a great discussion. Thanks for all that came out. This was inside the casing of a bullet. And that's the prime over here. That spark that happens. So that's what happens when you hit the firing pin, and that ignites the gunpowder in the second picture, and that's the propellant force that sends the bullet forward. And so we said that our firing pin is our belief system, and that's where everything really starts. Because what you believe about yourself is pretty much how it dictates how far you will go, and what you'll become. And that's important because if you have really great beliefs and really big goals, then it pushes your motivation. It maxes your potential because you have to do a lot more. You have to think a lot harder. You have to have more systems in place, and you have to have more things working for you in order to get to where you want to go. And so that's why it's important to have big dreams and to really have max level thinking when it comes to what you want to be and where you want to go, right? So believe in your potential, believe in yourself, believe in that ability that you have that can really lead you to anything and anywhere you want to go. But this week, we want to talk about how do you access your full potential. And so I was thinking about this because I've heard when I was in school, I've had teachers who said, Perth is a great student. He's nice. He doesn't do anything wrong. But, he doesn't really live up to his full potential. He's not maximizing his full potential. So what does that mean um, when you are not doing that? And if you're not doing that, then how do you fix it? How do you access the max of your potential, right? And so I asked myself a simple question: how do you feel anything? Right? So I just went very basic with the question. Okay, how do you feel anything? And so, for example, if I wanted to fill a glass of water, I'll need two things. I'll need the content and the container. Right? So remember those two C's because that's going to be important to what we're talking about today. Um, so you need those two things to fill anything, right? And so, in terms of a glass of water, you would need the content, which is the water, fill in the container, which is the glass, right? That makes sense, right? Everyone understands that level. So, for your potential, it's the same thing. Your potential is the content, but what is the container? And that's what the question is. What is the thing that holds that you can focus on, that you can pour your potential into, so that it can become full? And that's the question that I really had to answer for myself. And so I wrote some notes down. I said, without a container, your potential cannot increment. It can't grow. It will not grow, right? It is like pouring water on a flat surface. You need boundaries for growth. And if you look at the picture, the illustration I have, you see there's two piles of water. Then you see there's a glass of water, right? And so if you're pouring, if you have, we all have potential, but if you don't have a center, a core, a focus, or some place to hold it, then it's similar to you pouring your potential on a flat surface. You're using it, right? But there's nowhere for it to give direction, for it to go upwards, right? It's just going out, right? So it'll never be full. And so that's an example of having great ideas all your life and having great plans all of your life, but you never made a tangible container to hold that stuff so that the potential can start to actually full and work and actually grow and become something more and more and more. And so I think that's like a huge point if you never thought of it that way to think about in terms of maximizing your potential. Do you have a container? Do you have a central place, a central location that you focus your efforts on where you can see growth? Right? If not, it's like you're pouring your potential, it's unused, it's wasted, right? It's on a flat surface, so there's nowhere for growth. There's no way you could quantify it because of how it's being poured, right? So it's so important to have boundaries. And when you think about boundaries, the first thing you think about is limitations, but you shouldn't because it has many needs, right? It has many definitions. So in this case, a boundary is not so much a wall. It's not preventing or keeping in, right? It provides the barriers for upward motion because you have something around it. When you pour into it, now it has no choice but to escape upwards because there's no other direction where it can go. And so that's why you always hear about tunnel vision. Has everyone ever heard about that, tunnel vision? And you always hear people speak about tunnel vision and how powerful that is. And that's kind of like what this is in a way, right? Because in a tunnel, there's really one direction, right? I've driven too many tunnels. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. So, we got the Hunnell Tunnel and the other Lincoln Tunnel. And I think there's another one somewhere. But when you're in there, that's it. And sometimes you're driving and you have options to choose a lane. And I almost think to myself, like, this is the worst. This is like the most difficult decision any driver has to make. Right? Because once you get in that lane, that's it, right? So if you go into that lane and you hit that corner and it's stuck and you just see red lights, it's like, it's a wrap. Like you have no choice but to stay there, right? So that's what a tunnel is. It provides one sense, one area of direction, and everything else is surrounded. Same thing with the glass. And so when you think about boundaries, think about it in that sense, right? It provides direction because without the tunnel, without the barriers on your left and right, you can pretty much drive anywhere. And so if you're underwater, you have no idea where you're going. But that tunnel, the fact that it's from side to side and it's boxed in actually gives you a sense of direction. So when you think about boundaries and barriers, don't think about limiting because it is limiting, but sometimes that's necessary in terms of direction, right? Because without it, you'll be all over the place, right? So think about boundaries in this sense as a point of focus, right? So when we're talking about pouring your potential into something, we're saying, well, what is the focus point? What is the container that you're using to hold your potential to see it grow? All right. Once you have your focus, when you use your potential, the only direction it can go is up. Right. So you have to remove that like flat service option from your mind. You have to remove that no no boundary type of thinking from what you are doing. Just adding more people to the Zoom conference. Thank you again for joining in those on Zoom and also those on Facebook. I know it's Thanksgiving time. I know people are out shopping, and you could always be doing something far more valuable on a Tuesday. So I'm 100% happy that you're on here, even if it's just for a few seconds to check out what we're talking about. All right. So again, once you have your focus, when you use potential, the only direction you can go is up. And I think that's just an important visual when you think about the glass and you start pouring. There's no other direction for it to go is up. And so we'll talk about why that's so important in just a little while. And so I kind of looked at it in two different ways, like a flat surface potential and a focus potential. So these are areas in where potential is being used, but the issue that we're talking about tonight is not so much the use of it, because we have it and we can use it, but we're talking about the growth, and we're talking about the fullness of it and using it to its fullest extent. And that's a different question, right? Because we all have potential, but are we all using it to our fullest extent? And so I used this illustration to show a couple of points. And as you can see on the right side, the flat surface potential is the business idea you've had for the past 3 years. So you've been sleeping on this idea for the past 3 years. It's a great idea. It's well thought out. You probably made a lot of notes about it. But the potential has no room to go because you haven't created any entity or boundary to contain it, right? So when you have your LLC and your business plan that you're now implementing, now your potential is focused. Now it can grow. Now you can actually start working towards your full potential and what that means, right? Similarly, right, your potential, your flat surface potential is your workout plan, and I got one. I have a whole board right here, not a board, something taped up that has, bands and all these exercises that can do. It looks great on the wall. It looks, if you came into my house, you'd be like, oh, Percy's about his game. But again, it's a plan, right? The focus effort comes from having actual membership, and you actually have an entity to exercise that plan. And so that's always one thing I always talk about. I always push people to think about when they just in terms of their careers, in terms of their direction. It's like get things out of your head, and make it into something tangible, and that's the only time you can actually see it grow or see it become something once it gets out of your head and into your hands. And so having a great workout plan and good ideas about what to do on how many sets and how many reps, it sounds good. But that membership, right, and the actual location, now you have a boundary, closed, focused place. So when you start using your potential, you can actually see it grow and come to its max state. Right? I hope this is making sense to someone. So at work, let's talk practical, because the whole point of all this that we do here is to bring it right back home to things that happen day in and day out, right? So you think about at work, right? And what would your flat surface potential look like at work? And at work, it looks like you are not maximizing your potential within your boundaries. There's no demand for more, right? So, of course, within your job, there's a job description, and the job description outlines, again, the boundaries. It's a container. Within this container is your roles and responsibilities, and so that provides now a place for you to actually direct your focus, direct your efforts, and to fully use your potential, right? But if you're not, it's like you're walking around with a glass half full, right? There's a lot more room for more, but you're just not filling that. You're not maximizing. When you don't do that, there's no demand for more. Hey, if you're pouring a cup of water, and it starts to go full, and you have to either get another cup or get a bigger cup, right? It's like you have to increase the container because you're using so much of the content that it's forcing you to have to, it's putting demand on the size of the container. So similarly, it's like sometimes you can't complain too much about how much you've accomplished in terms of work or how much you've done at your job, because really and truly you have to ask yourself honestly, have you been filling your container? And if you have not, then that should be a focus. Trust me, if you're filling it, the demand for a bigger size is going to come, whether it's in that job or just up in another place. I mean, I've been living 41 years of my life. I'm pretty, and I feel like a pretty old guy, but honestly and truly, like I've worked a few jobs um, over the course of these 41 years, and that's been like a constant thing for me. I get in there and I start maximizing, and it will make room for more. It's like things are gonna happen, 100%. Maybe not at that job, but just like overall, you'll just see there's a demand for more, and you'll feel the need to do more, and that'll create something to happen in terms of that becoming like manifesting itself in your life. So think about that in terms of work. But there's another point. There's another point I want to talk about the container before we go, because we are almost done. So the definition of a container is an object used to hold or transport something. So we spoke about the holding aspect of the container, right? And how that's used to hold your potential, and how your potential can become full because of that. But the container also allows for the content to be mobile, to be moved, or to be transported, right? And so think about this, right? Is it easy to walk with a full glass of water? Talking about a full glass of water. Have you guys ever had a Essentia? I think that is the most fullest bottle of water, of water known to man. I'm not sure like what their quota is or something on their end, but they fill that thing like you have to open a essential bottle with care. And I get the big ones, so if you're squeezing that thing as you open it, it's all over the house. So I mean, that just came up in my mind. I'm not sure why that thing is so full. Anyway, so is it easy to walk with a full glass of water? No, it's not, right? There's a reason you're not going anywhere. And I made this reference just now when we were talking about work. It's because your glass has been full and you have made no change of container. So look at the other problem, right? So we spoke about the fact that your glass is not full yet. Your potential is not full at that job. So you're not making a demand for more. Now this is the flip side, which is another problem where you have maxed your potential. It's like that full glass of water, but you have made no change to the container. You have made no change to what's holding it. And so that's sometimes where you feel complacent in life, or you feel complacent at work or in a relationship. That's oftentimes what happens because you're saying to yourself, I do my work every day. Like I'm not, I don't miss meetings, I don't miss deadlines. And that's true. But at the same time, you've kind of maxed that glass, and the content of water is at the very top. And now you can't move because if you move, it starts to spill and it starts to make a mess. And so that was my point. That was my last point to share in terms of your potential and in terms of the container, the content and the container. One second, getting a call. All right, the content and the container. So two things. Number one, ensure that your container is that you're working towards filling it. That's the first part. But once it's full, ensure that your container is also large enough to contain what you have. Which is why I live with this, like, I have small goals. That there are small steps and things that I want to accomplish in the next month and the next year. But I also have very huge goals and huge plans in the next 5 to 10 years. So my container is humongous, and I make it so big so that there will never be a point to where my potential is too full to where it's overflowing, and I have an issue with mobility and moving forward. It's like no, it's always big enough so I can max out my potential and still be able to move around and not feel that loss of it, right? So that's for me, and that's what works for me. If you guys have a different way of looking at that works for you, then that's 100% great. I'm not saying in any way that this is the only way at all. No, this is just what works for me and what I came up with and what I think makes a lot of sense. So I'm hoping tonight you guys followed along in terms of what we're talking about potential and talking about growth and things of that nature. And if you have anything to share out, based on what you heard or based on your experience, now would be the time. I'd love to hear from anyone on the Zoom or anyone. You can also type into the comments for Facebook as well.
Hey, bro.
Hey, what's up?
Good, good, good. When you was talking about staying in your lane and, tunnel vision, it brought me to the concept of, like the Kentucky Derby, like the racehorses.
Yeah.
And one thing with the racehorses, they have, let me come on the video so you can see. So with the racehorses, they have these things that come on the side of the horse's eyes.
Uh huh.
So when the horse is racing, that it doesn't, it's like it's not focusing on what's happening on the right and left of it, the right and left of it. That it's like almost like a tunnel vision kind of, like almost the same thing. Like so they could just focus on just going forward. And a lot of times, even in, like in the supermarket, we kind of see a line like, oh, that line is shorter. Let me go on that line, and then as soon as you get on that line, the other line starts to move. So the concept of just staying in your lane and um, being focused. A lot of times, there's people who are driving past that's going faster
Uh huh.
to their destination, but you're still on the route. You still have your own destinations to go to. So a lot of times, I always say that, not to really focus on how fast the other person is going or what kind of car they're driving, but stay in your lane and you will get to your destination and your goals at your pace. So that was really good that you was able to bring that concept out.
Awesome. Thanks, bro. That's a great. I never even knew that in horse racing that the horses had blinders on the left and right so they could only see forward. But yeah, that's a good point in terms of tunnel vision. That makes a lot of sense. By the way, I don't like I have the worst supermarket line luck in the world. Like I'm the guy. As soon as I go to a line, that line is stuck behind something. Maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know. Maybe women are just really good at being able to get that. So what I do now, once I head in the line, I'm tunnel vision. I don't even look left or right because the second I see something open up, I'm like, let me get over there. Oh, sorry, sir, last person. So yeah, I just I have the worst supermarket line luck. If that's the thing. in the world. So yeah, thanks for sharing that out so much. That was actually good and very helpful. So as always, guys, I have the ticker going across the top of the screen, pointing to the website, where you can find all the content that we talk about. The Trends of Purpose audiobook series is up there, and also I have some guided meditation content, some worksheets that we have done in the past around Trends of Purpose and other content of nexLv. So again, thank you guys for tuning in for me for these 45 minutes. It looks like about 35. I really, hope and pray you guys have an awesome and safe Thanksgiving. We're in a very like crazy time right now with these cases rising up, and as someone who's seen the adverse side of this virus and has gone through quite a bit, I really pray you guys have a safe and fun time. Enjoy family, and there's still a lot to be thankful for. If you're able to celebrate Thanksgiving, that alone by itself is one thing, because there's some people who don't have that option right now to celebrate at all, right? So you have something, man. Just be thankful that you're there and you have something that you can use, which is life, which means you have the opportunity to make something out of it, right? So definitely that counts for something. All right. So before we go, I'm gonna play just a quick thank you, Ayane, you too. I'm just gonna play a quick intro for the Trends of Purpose audiobook, just so you can hear what it sounds like online.
Perseverance, observing, unplugging, mitigating. Now, it's up to you. Trending toward personal growth and development. With the tools in the nexLv system, you can observe and identify negative thoughts, scan and take inventory to name the negative, unplug from the negative thought or trend, find and replace the negative with a counter thought or trend that is positive and true. Because negative behaviors start with negative thoughts. By eliminating those negative thoughts, you are on your way to changing negative behaviors to positive behavior. After you complete the process, that is, you successfully found and replaced a significant negative, you're ready to repeat the process of eliminating negative behaviors again. Each time you complete the cycle to mitigate negativity, you're trending toward your purpose.
And so that's just a very quick excerpt from the Trends of Purpose audiobook that's available online, so you can kind of get a gist of what the content sounds like. So again, if you want to check out more, go ahead and see that online. I'm also going to show really quick before I go, I'm going to show the potential whiteboard animation that we did based on last week's conversation. So in case you missed last week's conversation, I did this just for you. And I'm pretty much going to do an animation every week. I think it's so helpful to just summarize everything in a very easy way to digest. And so you can check it out really quickly. Let me just get that ready. Here we go.
Let's talk about the power of potential. What if I told you that you can do anything you put your mind to, or that you can acquire anything you desire? Do you believe that is true? It is absolutely true. I know this because everything you want, someone has already done it. Everything you desire, another has already acquired. If it is created by people and owned by people, then you too can acquire it as a person. I realize that some people appear to have a natural aptitude towards success, or seem to have superhuman abilities to succeed. But can it also be true that some people use and maximize their potential while others do not? That some people have mastered habits and trends that lead to their purpose? Here's a suggestion for some answers. Sign up at www.nexLv.com and listen to the audio series, Trend to Purpose. By listening to this audio series, you too can develop the habits that lead you to success. But let's get back to the concept of potential. Potential is defined as latent qualities or abilities that can be developed and lead to future success or usefulness. When you look at the word latent, it means lying dormant or hidden until circumstances are right for development or manifestation. If we combine those definitions, we can say that potential is hidden or dormant qualities and abilities, waiting for the right circumstances to manifest as success and usefulness. What you have to ask yourself is, how do you activate this latent ability or quality? Consider a bullet. Yes, I said that right. Do you know how a bullet is fired? The bullet consists of four main parts: the casing, which holds everything together, the primer, which is a chemical compound, gunpowder, and the actual bullet. What happens when the trigger is pulled? A firing pin hits the primer, which causes a reaction. This reaction ignites the gunpowder, which acts as a propellant, sending the bullet through the barrel and out the muzzle. Our potential is like that gunpowder. It's a propellant. The action of the gun is the mechanics that load and fire the projectile. So action is required to activate the gunpowder. Similarly, action is required to ignite our potential. So, what is your firing pin? What is your mechanism that you use consistently to activate your potential? Your firing pin is your belief system, your principles that form the basis of your moral code and behavior. What do you believe about yourself? How do you use those beliefs to propel the actions in your life? When you make a decision according to your belief system, it's like that firing pin hitting the primer and causing the chain reaction that sends the bullet on its way. The energy you need to move forward is the propellant force of your potential pushing you forward. The propellant getting you out of bed to go to the gym when you're tired. The force helping you to log into work or school on time when no one is looking. But like any mechanism, continued use normalizes the process, and the force becomes more reliable every time you use it. Using your firing pin, your belief system, to propel yourself to action becomes a trend that leads you to your purpose. If you'd like to review this audio about potential, it's always here for you. Thanks for watching. To watch our weekly live videos, follow us on facebook.com/official nexLv. We are also on Instagram and Twitter as official nexLv. To listen to the audio series Trend to Purpose or use our guided meditations and worksheets, sign up at www.nexLv.com. Use the referral code on screen. At nexLv.
Awesome. So yeah, that was our conversation for last week. And then I'm going to create another whiteboard animation for what we spoke about this week, just to summarize it as well. Again, thank you all. 7:41. It's time to log out and get this last minute shopping done for Thanksgiving. I see people are off camp, so I'm sure everybody's out shopping too, which is cool. So enjoy your holiday, guys. Enjoy your families and friends, and have a safe time. And I will see you again next Tuesday as we talk about, I don't know yet. But I'll definitely send an email out and post out once we have the next topic. If there's something that you would like to speak about, feel free to email me or message me too privately. That's no problem. I think it's really want you guys to be more involved in this process. And we'll learn and we'll grow together. All right, guys, so enjoy your evenings and thank you for joining.
So you may be wondering, what is nexLv all about? Well, let me ask you this. Would you drive on the road with a flat tire? Certainly not intentionally, right? And when fixing the flat, would you use tools to get that done? I would hope so. I've never seen it done by hand alone. A flat limits the speed you can drive and also gives you less control on the road. What happens when you experience a mental flat in your life? Similarly, you have difficulty keeping a steady course, and it affects how fast you can drive or move toward your goals. Like the tools you would use to change a flat tire, nexLv is a tool in your mental toolbox. With nexLv, there is no product to store or sell. The product is you. Using worksheets, guided meditations, audiobooks, and other content, you take the time to fix your mental flat and get back on your awesome journey towards success. Attend our weekly meetings so we can all grow as a community. We believe that we achieve more and at a higher rate of success together. Take your life to the next level today. Use this referral code during sign-up. nexLv is for you.